Love that instrumental. Shout outs to my homie Beats by D for that instrumental. Hello, hello. Welcome to TMI Tuesdays. I'm your host, Tonk7, with my boy Culler Commentary over here in the building. Welcome to March 8th, 2022. So before we get started, just want to make sure everyone's clicking like, sharing, commenting, being a part of the show. Of course, starting off the week, every week we kick it off with my show, Tonk7 TMI Tuesdays with Culler Commentary. And then following that is Mike on the Mic. He has a couple different shows, Tuesday and Saturday at 10 p.m. And then Culler Commentary, it's like a late night show on Thursdays. So just a kind of talk show about Dolphins, what's going on. Same with Mike on the Mic. And then we have Fridays and on the weekends.
We got jokes too.
Yeah, definitely got those. We got El Capitan has his show variously on the weekends. You know, he likes to get different special guests on there. So you'll see him pop up, you know, during the weekend. What's up, Bleezy? What's up, everybody? We're ready to get into it. How you doing, Caller? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Good.
Got my alma mater shirt.
Oh, I know. I threw up my shirt right there. Lake
yeah,
Worth
see
High.
that?
Boom.
You got a vintage one right there, man.
Yeah, that's Lake Worth Physical Education, 9th grade. That's throwback. I don't know if you
that's
get
awesome. That brings
it's almost
back
as
some
throwback
memories.
as yours. I mean, yours is like
Well, the design is throwback, but I recently bought it. There's
you know what I was going to say when I saw it earlier. I was like, that shirt looks new though.
Yeah.
That's
I know,
awesome though.
Like they had a section at Wally World.
Fins
I couldn't
up.
believe it.
What's up, Shake Money? Don K, what's up, man? All right, so today is March 8th, and to kick the show off, we're going to start with Today is International Women's Day. If anyone knows me personally, you know how much of a fan I am of women, and everything that they provide us with and do for us in society, how important they are, how loved they are.
We
And
definitely wouldn't be here without women. That's for
Yep,
sure.
we couldn't. And actually, I have a hat from the Portland Thorns. The Portland Thorns. It's the women's soccer team in Oregon. And dude, that was the first soccer game I ever went to professionally, and I was blown away by the talent and the athleticism of the players. And I was like, wow, these women really kick ass, dude. And a
Yeah, and I
lot of
think
them
you find
actually,
that with a lot of sports where you don't, even sports you don't like, when you get forced to go to one of them, to a live event with a friend or something, and you realize that why people like it when you're at the live event. Doesn't really matter what sport it is. Soccer is one of those. My own experience, having visited Germany back when I was younger, and going to like one of the local venues where there was a kind of a local league match going on, and that was my first taste of any real soccer at a talented level like that. And yeah, you're right.
yeah,
It's completely different when you're there watching it.
yeah. And it's, speaking of other countries, it's interesting how the United States team, FIFA team, is like so dominant compared to the other women's teams around the world. And that just shows how much this country allows women to be free and to be able to have the opportunities to play at
And to
that
carve
game.
out their niche. Let's be
Yeah,
let's be honest, because it ain't like the men are ever going to show up anybody on the soccer side. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It's and it like just like work. It was what's interesting about Portland, Oregon was the company I worked for in downtown Portland was like mostly women, and then the dentist office I went to was like mostly women. Like Portland is crazy when it comes to like diversity and how different it is than any other city or state I've ever been in. It's very progressive. And I looked up today
Oh,
when
that it
women,
is.
it is crazy, dude. Like, um,
Like
it's very progressive.
crazy progressive.
But women, they didn't get to vote until 1920, and it actually, the law got passed on June 4th, 1919. And it's funny, June 4th for women, and then June 19th was free slaves. And my birthday is in June, so that's just an interesting month. I just looked that up right now, but I'm very, like I talk about it all the time. My mom, rest in peace, Holly Witherspoon, Holly Jean. Every show I ever do, I always do the song about her. Almost every shirt I have made that has Tonk7 on it says "Rest in Peace, Holly Jean." Like to the woman that we've lost from cancer, stuff like that. So, I just wanted to just share a little bit of that for today. And did you have anything else, Color?
No, no, other than shout out to the women. Look, I mean, I'm all
Thank you
about
for everything you do
empowering
for us.
anybody
Women's
of
Day,
any sex or color or whatever, man. Empower
Women's
everybody.
Day, Women's
Do what
Day
you
every
got to
day.
do, women. You know,
Um, all
just be
right,
women. That's why we love you.
so this weekend actually was Mike Krzyzewski's. I don't know if it wasn't. I don't think it's. They're going to be in the tournament, of course, but it was like one of the last games he's going to have at Duke, and it was against North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And just how many years that dude has been a head coach? 42 years. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
crazy.
And the mark that he's made on the sports world and in people's minds in general. I mean, I don't follow college basketball. He's a famous college basketball coach,
Yeah, a
right?
Duke,
Yeah.
a Duke.
And I mean, I don't follow
Okay.
it, obviously, by having to ask the question like I did. But the fact that I am aware of who this man is, when I hear the Coach K, I know exactly who everybody's talking about. I know what he looks like in my head. And I don't follow one iota of college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, college basketball, I think he has 5 championships, and then he did a lot with the Olympics with the national team
Mm-hmm.
winning golds. So he's just, yeah, and I mean, it's just it's becoming less and less an event for a coach is with a team for that many years 42 years. I mean,
And
that's just
is he the type of coach that's gonna, or the type of guy that's gonna move into other aspects
yes,
that
he's
so he'll be
actually
around for a long
he's
time?
yeah, he's gonna take another position with Duke.
Oh, okay.
I didn't write down or look up the exact position, but I know it's more like a consulting, kind of like maybe what Phil Jackson was doing
Hmm.
with the
You
Knicks.
think there's any
And maybe what
NBA
he's
in his
doing.
future? For
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know, man. It's funny that you asked that because being on the the Olympic team, I don't think so. I think that he just really, really likes college, and probably because he probably reaches people a lot better at an earlier age.
Is it a similar situation like with football? Like a guy like Nick Saban won't necessarily pan out in
Well,
NFL.
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation because he's had success with the Olympics with you know, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and maybe even LeBron James, Dwayne Wade. It's like he went and won with NBA players, but I don't know. It's a very interesting like niche he has in basketball. But from what I've heard, he is going to stay at Duke and just take another position. But yeah, it is maybe similar to Nick Saban, even though Nick Saban, I don't know how many times besides the Dolphins that he went pro.
I think
Um,
only the one,
yeah,
and I think it's really a matter of nobody doubts that given enough time he could be good in the NFL. It's that he doesn't ever want that for himself because he enjoys the dynamic of helping young people to grow into men.
yeah,
And with that aspect, you have a certain amount of leverage with those young men that you don't necessarily have at the professional level, because at the professional level, we're dealing with adults in their adult livelihoods and concerns and all. That's why I try to tell people all the time when we discuss different Dolphins and whatnot and players and why they may or may not want to play or why they may or may not perform or all these different aspects, coaching, why coaching might not work. Is this guy or that guy a bad coach or a good coach? Well, he was good here or he was bad here, but he was good here. Or this type of dynamic happens simply because you're dealing with adults with
yeah.
adult issues. I mean, and not to carry it too deeply off to left field, but um it's sort of like with a younger coach. You think, well, is he going to work? He may be a superstar, he may be great, he may understand football more than he may be the Einstein of football. But what happens when the free safety comes to him before the game, night before the game, and says, oh, the old lady's got some issues, you know what I mean? Or I mean,
Or
life
kids or
events
something like
happen
that.
to these people. They're adults, and I
Yeah,
think we forget that a lot of the times. I make fun of it. Sometimes I joke about it, but a guy take a Hawaiian that gets drafted by a team in South Florida, goes to South Florida, realizes, wow, there's no waves here. I mean, it could be
yeah.
so as simple as that. I don't want to play here. I don't want to live here for
Well,
the next
I
15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, after the game, they had a big ceremony for him, and they actually invited every player that's ever played for him at Duke. And he got a lot of time to talk on the mic with the microphone, and he said that it was very family oriented.
Mhm.
His role being the head coach, he was like he kept saying family and Duke a lot. So I think that it was more of a relationship,
Yeah, well,
friendship.
and family being these guys think of these guys as their sons. I mean,
Yeah,
they're taking these people for a good portion of their life, of early development of their life in adulthood. I mean, they almost do act as their father. It is sort
yeah.
of
I
like
mean,
that
but he was
aspect. And
yeah, and he
that's
was at
another aspect that doesn't translate necessarily to the NFL unless you've got a squad of a bunch of really young players and they're so talented that they can overcome and win early. You know what I mean? But in college, you've got all that time. You've got, you know, no
and not in a
when you're
one
a
and done
college kid,
situation
you
though.
just got to college.
But I
You're
mean,
18
that's been
years old.
harder. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but that's also getting harder because of these one and dones. I mean, look at Kentucky right now. Like it,
You think that's partly why he's getting, finally putting it down?
No, I don't think so. 42 years. I mean, dude,
I mean, they draft people that's like out of high school in NBA, right?
I think LeBron James was the last person who did that.
But I mean, they're allowed to. There's no rules.
I'm not too sure. I think there is a rule now. That's why LeBron was the last one to do it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so they have to do
want,
like a year of college or something.
2 years. I think it was 2 years. From what I recall, maybe we could look that up. I don't feel like looking up right now in a second, but
or it's like a year. It's a year past your red shirt. So if you get red shirted twice, then you have to go 3 years.
Well, yeah, I don't think red shirt is the same for basketball as it is in football, though.
Right.
But yeah, it's becoming harder in basketball to build a good team because students leave after just a couple years. They only go to college just to go to the NBA. They don't
question: the transfer portal, is that an overall NCAA rule or is it just for football exclusively?
I'm not too sure, actually. I'm gonna write this down
because I was gonna say the transfer portal on the football side of things kind of lessens that a little bit too, because a kid isn't necessarily obligated to see that coach as their father figure if they don't choose to, if they don't like the guy. Like if I don't like my daddy, I could just go get in the transfer portal and go over to Oklahoma.
Yeah. And there's a lot, and that's happened a lot now since they allowed that to happen. There's been a lot of.
I mean, we're really watching the transformation of college football into a professional league.
What's his name from Outcast? Big Boy's son was playing for Oregon, and now he's playing for, I think, Nevada. Russell Wilson moved teams. Mm-hmm. He was at NC State and Wisconsin, but that was before the transfer portal. The transfer portal is like very specific, I think.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, exactly, to Oklahoma. Right, from Alabama. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean with college. Like, it's difficult to win now, to build a team, because students just up and go. But I mean, 42 years, that's a long time, regardless of what's going on. It's probably why, the coach of the Kentucky's only won one time with Kentucky, because it is very hard. Now it's just teams like Villanova, Gonzaga that are winning, but those are like small school teams that are way out where they don't have anything of football. The schools that got a lot of football going on, they got a lot more transfer portals. So yeah, college is becoming a lot more lucrative with all this transfers and students being paid. It's got to be a tough job now. But yeah, guys, hit the like button, share. Thank you, Shake Money. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're definitely gonna talk about that. Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. So next up,
real quick, like Tonk just said, make sure you like and share, subscribe to the channel, and hey guys, anybody on Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, just head over to YouTube real quick, subscribe, like, and share. You could go back to the platform of your choice, but we're trying to get YouTube to do its thing for us. So we just want everybody to come over and like real quick, head back over to where you're at if you want. But the closer we get to 1,000 subscribers, the better we're all going to be in the long run.
The more we'll have to offer, and the more we'll have to offer as a network.
Yep. And also,
Ollie. I haven't looked into like the limits or anything, but it'd be good for next time to talk about this stuff. I'm writing it down so next time we can maybe go over this, because it's really interesting.
Yeah, and with the payment, with the payment rules changing, I mean, I don't understand how it's just not gonna, how it can't evolve into a professional league. You know what I mean?
Well, and I've heard,
not that I'm against that. I'm just saying, I don't understand why people are beating around everything and just calling it what it's going to be.
I think the NCAA is trying its hardest to hold on, because now that you have like the SEC that's getting ready to have like 5 or 6 more schools going to it. Oklahoma's going to it. Texas is going to the SEC. Now you're getting these conferences that are becoming huge, and they are $1 billion conferences. CBS paid the SEC, I think it was in like 2009, $2 billion to play the game, like one game a week on CBS or 2 games a week on CBS, and only for the football season. It's like these conferences are worth billions of dollars. They don't even need the NCAA anymore. So I think the NCAA is doing everything it can to hold on to college football or college sports because I mean, dude, if the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the Pac 12 and the ACC wanted to leave, they could. They could just say, we're done with you, NCAA. We're going to start our own league. They don't need the NCAA. Like the NCAA was formed so many years ago.
But you see what the transfer portal's starting to do? Look at what's going on in Miami.
Yeah, exactly, Shake, buddy.
Well, just for example,
so was USC.
Not 9 months ago, I'm listening to one of the local radio shows. I forget which one, but they had a guest on, that's privy to these matters, and they were talking about the boosters at Miami and how there's just everybody's just indifferent to the football program, and how they pretty much have all but said, look, we're not pumping all this money into that anymore, because we've got so many other avenues to bring our school up with, the medical stuff, all that, and the whole interview was just so depressing to me. It was like the mood was, oh, well, that's it. Canes are never going to be back like we knew them. You know what I mean? And now we got rid of Diaz. We got Cristobal in. He's making all these coaching moves. You're starting to hear a lot more reports of kids wanting to get in the portal to leave, to come to Miami. And it just seems to me now that's going to happen exponentially across the nation, across all the different conferences. The NCAA, if they come in, their only move is to standardize it all. Guarantee that the other conferences like the ACC, the Big Ten, all those conferences are competing with the players that can go to the SEC, a la the transfer portal. And now you basically have a league under the NCAA where with several different conferences that end up competing in a final, championship. Whether that evolves to, do they contend against the Super Bowl champion from the NFL for a world championship? Who knows? But that could be interesting stuff.
Say we get destroyed.
Because it could be argued, if there's money to be made and everybody's allowed to brand themselves anyway, some of these NFL players may.
I would say maybe against the CFL.
No, what I'm saying is what I'm saying is, well, hear me out real quick, because a lot of these NFL players may decide, I don't want the show business aspect of it. I want to brand myself. I want to get paid. I'm going to hang back in college where I can make millions. And now the talent level of college ends up growing to the level of the NFL over, 20, 30-year period.
Yeah, but you can only stay on a football team for 4 years in college.
Oh, they go to another college.
I don't know how that scenario will work out yet.
Then it'll be like the NBA of football.
But I mean, you're going to college to get an education, learn. It's not just to get paid. So, like, yes, they're getting paid, and I see what you're talking about. I could see the downward spiral with that, but I don't know if that. I don't know
some of the arguments being made against the monetization.
Maybe if they do leave the NCAA, that could happen. But at the same time, you're starting to lose the college aspect of it, as it being a university.
Well, you still have the lower divisions.
I mean,
let's face it. Palm Beach Community College doesn't compete in the same division.
No, they probably got a basketball team.
Well, they had a football team when I was growing up, but they were still like in lower division. Like they didn't compete.
The school I went to in St. Pete had a baseball team. That is a scenario but there's got to be things in place to stop that. You don't go to college to just.
But who's going to put the cap on the internet? You know
What
what I
do you
mean?
mean the
When one of
internet?
these players brands themselves on the internet and makes millions of dollars, how can the NCAA stop that?
You mean like, let's say Tim Tebow,
Well,
for
they can say
example.
you can't make the money off the image of the uniform, but that's all they can say.
Yeah. I don't know. Look it up. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
there's.
great. You know, I mean,
I
we're
mean, it's probably
it's going to be
written
quite
out
interesting.
in the
It'd
transfer.
be it'd be nice to be alive 50 years from now to see how all
Well,
this
with the
plays out.
transfer
You know,
portal and the players getting paid, there's got to be something in there that speaks about just a person staying in college and making money. I mean, I don't see that ever actually happening because I don't know. I don't even know if it would be warranted. Like, what? Just go to the NFL if you're that good. Like, the college is like to get kids to come in and out,
or
get
the
education,
XFL
play,
or the
and then go.
USFL.
Or
You
yeah,
know,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they don't want to go to the NFL, go to that. Like, personally, I don't even know if I would want to see a player stay that long. Like, even though the Gators were kicking butt every year, it would have been weird to see Tim Tebow not leave. You know what I mean?
right, right.
And I think when you were talking about the Hurricanes and what's going on with them, it reminded me of when they got the death penalty back in 2011, and I think that has made it more difficult for them to get back to where they were, like when they were, in 2001 or 2000 when they won a championship. Even though they had good teams, it's just that death penalty,
Well,
man.
that's
It's
kind of
just
what
rocked
ended up causing them to diversify and get on the world stage in other genres, in other sections.
FM.
You know what I mean?
That's when I'm going to be president. 2044.
I mean, I was living in St. Louis for like 10 years, and there was uh hurricane logos in some places that I went in these certain medical environments that I went in. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of nice to see. You know, it was not
Oh,
like a guy wearing a hat, like, you know,
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the person probably went to. I mean, I went to school
or
in
or or
Florida.
or I might be in a waiting room in some medical facility, and the TV is running promos for Jackson Memorial or something. You know what I mean?
Because, dude, it's Florida, dude. Like, what I'm watching weird stuff on the internet, I can
What is it
tell.
they do? Who is it? They're Baptist Health. Is that who they're affiliated with? Or
I'm not sure. Jackson Memorial. I'm not
Hurricanes
sure.
and
I
all
never.
them?
I'm not sure.
Well, either case, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'll go to places in other
Search it up.
states, man, and it's like,
It's funny, like Florida itself, though. Like when I see weird videos on the internet or stuff like that, you can tell it's in Florida. You see palm trees and you see everything everything's one story. Yeah, you see palm trees and the concrete because they don't gonna get blown away by hurricanes. Speaking of hurricanes, like legit hurricanes. But yeah. So what do we got next?
yeah, and Shake Money makes a great point because there's no shortage of hot nurses in South Florida. So,
Oh, well, I mean, speaking of that, yeah, well, it's like kind of like me. Like I'll show up here in Seattle with a sticker on my car as Florida Gators, or if I was a doctor, I would have I would have all my Florida stuff, like
yeah.
I got like a Miami Heat mask when I'm at the airport.
Remember the last Seattle guy native that got into podcasting? He works for the Miami Dolphins now.
Who?
Travis Wingfield.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's from Seattle.
Oh, okay.
When he was doing the Drive Time or the Locked On Dolphins podcast, which I was listening to when I was in Missouri, because there's very little content, in another state. He was talking about how he grew up in Seattle, and it was a brother rivalry that caused him to become a Dolphins fan when he was a kid.
When I was living in Portland and when I live here in Seattle, I run into people all the time that are from Florida. All the time. Like I'll be out in the wilderness somewhere and I'll see someone with the Florida Gators keychain. It's like, but if you go to other states, you don't see that same scenario.
Well,
Like
Gainesville, man.
When I was in San
Gainesville.
Diego, I didn't see a bunch of people from New York City.
Well, Tonk, Gainesville. It's a hell
And
of
I
a
actually
drug.
bought I have a Miami Dolphins apron that I use when I cook food. I bought it in Mexico.
Yeah, Shake, he moved
in
to Miami
Tijuana.
when he took the job with the Dolphins. That's why there's another guy doing the Locked On Dolphins podcast now.
Hold on. F him what? Sir Mix-a-Lot. Oh, yeah. Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yeah, I mean, you figured if he's from here, he would do some shows here. He hasn't done any shows here, not since I've been here.
Shake also says, yeah, the Hurricanes were paying players before it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so was USC. So, like, Florida Gators, they were I mean, USC was paying Reggie Bush and all that. I mean, but it's like, hey, it is what it is. Like, I didn't really see a problem. And it was about time that they allowed students to start getting paid, because they're putting their bodies on the line for being out there. Like, they're making a lot of money for the university. So cause for cleats. I chose Terrence Steele of the Dallas Cowboys for military
too.
For military appreciation and support. It's called MVP, Merging Vets and Players. I have family members that are in the VFW, so I am a VFW member, kind of literally grandfathered in. And I've done some stuff with vets when I was still living in Florida, when I was in college, and especially now with, like, I chose that because of the war and everything going on, and just like, like these people, they go out there, they see terrible things, they go through terrible things, they come back missing limbs, missing this, and it's like, I'm glad that they have all these organizations, VFW, Moose Lodge, American Legion, that helps. There's actually a place right down the street from where I live I think it's called DAF or something like that, and it's just for wounded warriors. And in it, it just, because I mean, and I know a lot of home builders that donate to organizations that help with military veterans, specifically ones that have been wounded or disabled, and hopefully we're not going to have as much war in the future as we do now. But it's nice to see that the support is there. I know people that use that support, and it does help them. And so that's why I chose that. Did you get one for today, Culler?
Yes, I absolutely did. And that was going to be
Thank you, Squid Games. Thank you, Squid Games. Scars. Shake
right
Money FM. Make sure to like, share, save. All right, sorry, Culler. What's up?
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So before I do that, I just wanted to remind everybody, to get great stuff like this Jason Taylor picture.
Oh yeah, so we got
this recliner thing in the cover that I got. Fanatics.com.
Yeah, we're a partner with Fanatics.com,
Yep.
and we have our own merchandise now. So I need to get on that, so that way
make sure you use the link in the description below so they know that we
There's
sent
probably
you.
both of them on there. He has a couple things on that link.
And we're hoping Snurdly 2.0 will pull up the Finn's tailgate gear too.
Squid Game. What do you mean a Whopper? You mean like a Burger King sandwich?
Boom, right there. Look at that.
Yeah, so I need to get me one of them hats.
Available in different colors.
I'm gonna have to get me one of them hats. I already got enough sweaters, but maybe
with the dolphin
them sandals ain't bad.
down the center of the flag.
Would be good for me traveling to Florida. And the beanie is always good out here in Seattle.
I like the beige one myself.
And that shirt's dope too. Is that only on the back? Does it have like the little TFG on the front? Just curious.
Dude's got some muscles.
Speaking of back, what's his name? Sir Mix-a-Lot. Never mind. So I don't know what you mean by that, Squid. Do you work at Burger King? And
okay,
and I mean, what Shake Money was saying with some VFWs are poorly run. I mean, but really they don't get a lot of service. I mean, every time I went into a VFW, there's like 4 or 5 people in there just smoking cigarettes and drinking. So, they don't get a lot of input. But doesn't mean they can't. Maybe we could start, there's always community service. But thank you, Squid Games, for listening to us while you're working, dude. That's freaking awesome, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So Culler, what'd you say for your cause for cleats?
So, a Las Vegas Raiders player, Jermaine Illuminor, he's going for community outreach, and his cause for cleats is for the mission of hope, which is a cause for so basically I'll just read their mission statement real quick. As an organization following Christ, Mission of Hope exists to bring life transformation to every man, woman, and child. Mission of Hope currently works in Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Key West, Florida. We believe nations can be transformed one life at a time by focusing on nutrition, education, medical care, and church advancement. And so Jermaine is the portion that he supports is the mission of Haiti, which to me is, I personally, having witnessed over the last decade or so, and even earlier than that, with the earthquake and
Oh yeah, in Haiti,
various
yeah.
different things that have happened to that
I mean,
country.
they're always going through a lot, anyways.
Yeah, and then to have the then to be robbed of all the help money for it and everything. I just think it's a, that place, I don't know. What the old wives' tale about what's hanging over that place, and I think it's just time that a nation like Haiti should be delivered, and I think the world has the ability to help them. They're brilliant people, and I grew up and have a lot of Haitian friends in South Florida,
Yeah, so,
and
yeah.
they make
Same
great
here.
food, and
Same
they're
here.
just great people. So I mean, we all have our run-ins with people we don't like, and we all might have our ideas of who should and shouldn't be here and all that, but that's neither here nor there. Everybody wants to fix the world, but we can't even fix a country that's a couple hundred miles off our coast. You know what I mean? So you know we just need to we need to help that country, and I just have always been a strong supporter of anybody that wants to help the cause for Haiti. So I really appreciate Jermaine over there in Las
I
Vegas.
have a friend of mine who went to Haiti and did some work too, and I know people from Haiti and from Dominican Republic. Um, it's crazy when you hear about like an earthquake in a place like that. It's like what, But tectonic
I mean,
plates, man, they're what
I'd
Earth.
venture to say that 65%, anecdotally speaking, like 65% of the people I interact with on a daily basis in my area are probably Haitian or
Yeah,
Haitian Americans.
South Florida has a
And
lot
and I
of
think a lot of
Haitians
people
and
forget
Dominicans.
that sometimes, that these are
A lot
people
of
we interact with every
even
day.
from Central America too.
Yeah,
Everybody,
and oh, sure, but just to point that out also is that we interact with these people every day. They ring up our groceries. I ring theirs up. I mean, I don't personally, but I, as a guy that looks like this, might be bagging them. I mean, we all work together, and we all work with each other every day. And a lot of times, without speaking to these people, you may just see their face or the color of their skin, and you might not know that they come from a place like Haiti, and have been through, hellfire and brimstone to get here and get where they're at. So I'm just
all those countries
I'm
over
a
there,
big
Cuba.
supporter of anybody that wants to
Yeah,
help along Haiti. So that's the cause for cleats I'm picking tonight.
nice. And it's who said it? Lakers all day said that Bobby Wagner has been released. So that's the last. So we'll get back on that, but with Russell gone and Bobby Wagner gone, that's the entire team now that was the Super Bowl team is gone. You lose the
Wow.
last two players.
And now they got Drew Lock. You think it's
Well, yeah, but a lot of
you
first
think it's
round picks.
tank for TVD? Is that
I
what
don't
is
think
going
that
on out
head
in
coach
Seattle?
that head coach doesn't know how to tank. So what's next on our list tonight? Oh yeah, I chose this one because there was one specific part that was just making me laugh so hard. Was this dude in the yellow shirt? and I don't know if the producer's gonna play a video or not. But so yeah, it's kind of it's so awesome. It's kind of close to the end of the video, maybe for this specific video, and you just see you just. So I don't know why, but I don't know. It's look at the dude in the yellow. Right?
He's in full on mosh pit
He's
mode.
in the mix, dude. I guess there's people in blue. Those are like the ushers or something like that. And look, hold on, look. What? And he's just getting clocked, dude. You can't see it right now, but yeah, see the guy in the green.
Ooh, right in the ribs.
Dude,
like there's right in the ribs, man.
There's a video behind where you see the dude in the yellow just like,
Why is everybody wearing dolphin jerseys?
I wonder if he was the one who started it, because he looks like he's had a few. Oh, it's like Stan Marsh's dad's Randy Marsh. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
He spins up, man. That spins up is just clocking him in the ribs. It looks like a Dolphin fan pounding on a Steelers fan, man.
He's like, steel curtain this. But yeah, so I don't know. Just got to brace of laughter. And people at sports events just get way too serious. I mean, I went to the only one game I've gone to so far, a Seattle Seahawks game, was when the Buccaneers came to play. And I went there decked out in Buccaneers. And I knew I was going to be in for some heckling. And that's all I got the entire time. But it's like, you know, no one really offended me or something like that. I mean, maybe they said the same thing, like, oh, do you know what game you're at? Or, you know, what team you're wearing? Like, it's stupid. But, like, I don't know. You should be able to have a good time at a game and it not lead to that. But if it's a little funny when it does, I'm going to laugh about it.
It almost did at Arrowhead.
I mean, there's people that get killed during stuff like this. I mean,
they
it's
weren't
very
liking
serious.
what I was saying about their coach, so they had to get personal with me. And then it was like, all right, now we got a scuffle going on.
I mean, yeah, look at the producer.
Third row. It happened right behind Cameron Wake.
And actually, you know what's funny was I was at a Miami Dolphins game with the producer, Chris's his whole family was there, but I was like getting chaperone at the time because I was really young. I was in the bathroom and Chris's uncle was chaperoning me. And I think it was the Giants that they were playing that day. And when I went in there, I said, Giants suck, really loud. And there's a whole bunch of Giants fans in there. and Chris's uncle's like, dude, chill the fuck out. I said it real loud too. Like, and I looked right at the Giants fans and said, you guys suck.
Bad. That's terrible.
No, Ollie, who asked that? No, Shake Money. I'm from Florida. I was born in Georgia, but I grew up in Florida. I grew up in West Palm and St. Petersburg. That's why I went to Lake Worth High. I live here now in Seattle because I live here for a couple of different reasons. But for what I do for a living, Seattle and Portland are very progressive when it comes to sustainable construction. That's what I work as a consultant. And so like, I don't know, the code, the energy code here is like literally job security for what I do. Even though Florida has a really, really strict building code, we're still more strict. So Ollie, I think I was looking at that one too. And I didn't choose that one because if people are dying, I can't make fun of stuff like that, you know, but if people are just fighting and stuff like that, I'm going to make fun of it. And I am a smarty pants. You could ask my dad.
Total smarty pants.
And dude, the producer, Chris Allen, we've known each other since like babies. We were babies when we were first hanging out, like my oldest friend. So that was what do we got? What do we got next? Calvin. All right, so sports betting. Okay. This dude out here pulling a Pete Rose. And the reason why I chose this topic was because of how long his suspension is for. An entire season. Like we got players who like physically harm people, who, do other things that are way worse than betting, and they get like 2 games. So like I don't like, they're saying that it was against like the integrity of the game. Even so, he wasn't playing, and he bet on the game, and he wasn't playing. Even though like I heard, so he is a player or a coach?
He's a player.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he's a wide receiver, and I mean, just a whole season to be suspended for. I mean, I'm okay with him getting suspended, but I don't know. It's like I guess they're trying to make an example out of him, but I don't know. I don't see like it's such a severe punishment.
Well, it's really ironic too. It's kind of like, if you compare, if you apply it from the perspective like of what you're saying, like from the guys that have been suspended for things much worse for a lot less suspension, it looks crazy. There's a big disparity. But then in the other direction, you look at it as compared to the perspective of somebody like Pete Rose, and it's like all of a sudden it's extreme the other way. You like only a season. Here's a guy that's struggling to still get in the Hall of Fame in retirement.
Yeah,
and he can't because he bet on the game.
I know. I know.
So you almost have to be like, yeah, it's way
we
more
don't
than
know,
what other people have been suspended for, but it's way, way less than what another guy's been banned for life for.
Okay, but at the same time, is Calvin Ridley is he gonna be up for Hall of Fame after he retires? And 2, is he going to be kept out of the Hall of Fame? We don't know that yet.
Well, that's true.
Like we haven't seen that happen yet, and I don't know. I don't see like I don't know. I mean, if they're gonna follow the trend, then they are gonna keep him out of the Hall of Fame. But like, you got players that are, I mean, they are keeping players.
Well, what I'm saying is though, Pete Rose isn't banned from the Hall of Fame per se. He's banned from baseball. So even if they wanted to vote him in the Hall of Fame, they can't.
Yeah, they can't. Even though, dude, he has a lot of the records for, I think he has like most steals, was it? Or slides. Like he was a badass at baseball, dude. Like he was a really good baseball player. I don't know. I mean, like I don't know how he was caught. It maybe because he was doing it right off of his cell phone, but
yeah. Apparently, he drove out of state, I guess, to do it.
Yeah, but like, hopefully, it's just like now. Like,
what I also don't get is he says he doesn't have a problem. It was only $1,500, but at the same time, you drove out of state to do it. I mean,
he was trying to say he's not addicted to
gambling. It seems to me like he had a system in place. And that system broke down, and that system wasn't able to be used that day. And he got desperate enough to drive out of state and make the bets himself on his phone, a phone that he knows is monitored by the NFL. And if it is, let's say if that's not his only option, then why are you using an NFL monitored phone to do that kind of stuff? This is just like Scott Weiland, driving down the road to go get his own blow in his own crack. Like, you're a millionaire. Why can't you pay somebody to bring that stuff to you?
Or I think it was
but we can't understand what it's like from the perspective of a crack addict. You see what I'm saying? They're not thinking on those terms. And it's like you and me are thinking rationally. They're not. And the irrational thinking is what makes me think maybe there is a problem.
I don't know. Maybe he just didn't really realize that he was he said he knew he was doing wrong. Maybe he just didn't think he was going to get in that much trouble.
And again, if it was only like he's saying, it was only his tweet was it was only $1,500, guys. I don't have a gambling problem. Like, chill. And it's like, well, then why'd you do it? You make millions of dollars. What the hell did you need to drive out of state to bet $1,500 on a parlay for?
I don't think that argument helped his cause at all. Like, just because
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
If you're a millionaire betting $1,500, that doesn't mean you're addicted to gambling. It doesn't say anything. It could say that you gambled one time. I mean,
but why?
I don't know. It's
to say you won it. You could have put that down on paper.
It's just a weird circumstance, and like it's like they just. I feel like they're just trying to set an example.
Well, as far as the NFL's part in the punishment, you may be right about that, you know.
And maybe with everything going on with Brian Flores and talking about being paid,
right, it's something for them to jump on so they can show everybody they take action when all the rest of the shoes drop, you know.
Yeah, I think they're trying to say like, oh, well, we don't tolerate that, and here's an example of how we don't. So I think it was it
kind of gives them leverage. It kind of gives them leverage to punish Ross because they can say, well, we're not doing it in a vacuum. Here's the precedent. Look what we did to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with things already going on. Because it seems like they just decided it quick. Like it seems like someone walked in and said, hey, Calvin Ridley bet on again. All right, 1 year suspension.
Well, also, Tonk, I've been saying it from the beginning. They've got more face to save with Vegas than they do with the NFL and the feds and whoever else. I mean, we're talking about, Vegas relies on certain things too. Maybe Vegas knew they were tanking. Maybe they didn't. But if it's a backroom deal, why would Vegas know about it? So they got face to save there too. So this suspension for Calvin Ridley is every bit as much telling the market things are safe. Look what we do to people who bet on a game that didn't even affect anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just I think it was escalated in light of what is going on. They're trying to make
in other words, they're saying to the world, you're right. The bets he made made no difference to the outcome of the games, but we're still taking harsh punishment because of the mere thought that they could.
Well, it's just like sports betting for the NFL is so big. It's huge. It's I mean, you got fantasy football, you got so many bars that have things like that. And now it's becoming legalized in all these states. And so it's like there's so much money rolling through it. I think they're trying to just save their own ass.
And see, Tonk, what's the difference between what Calvin Ridley did? And I would argue it was less effect than something like, and I'm not saying any of these guys do it. I'm going to keep names off of it because I don't want to, I don't want to be accused of slander, like for real or anything. Any coach, and we know there's those coaches out there that are coaching good teams, and there might be a primetime game against a team that is good, but never really had a chance. You know what I mean? And you'll see this situation where these particular coaches who remain nameless will start like doing certain things and getting the ball to certain players where you could easily say, well, yeah, it's not as if they're ahead of the game or in a comfortable lead where they can start getting guys more minutes. You know what I mean? But they start doing these certain things like where it's plain as day. All you got to do is just, wing the ball to this certain guy and it's an easy touchdown, but it goes to this other guy that just so happens to ruin everybody else's fantasy slate except for that particular coach.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it happens.
I mean,
I'm sure somebody's saying, nah, we need to practice 2-point conversions because we're up by 14 anyway. You know what I mean? When we really don't have to practice 2-point conversions. Our kicker sucks, actually. He's the one that needs to practice. You know what I mean? And it's plain as day to see, I'm not saying they don't, whatever, inside info. If you got the, whatever, if you're if you're so and so coach and you have the ability to make your sleeper
now that we're kind of
break a slate, then go right ahead. All I'm
Well,
saying is fantasy football is affected by it just as well as
oh yeah,
direct gambling and direct betting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're in the age of information, so stuff that you're trying to do on a cell phone can get you caught. You can't. It's hard to be secretive about stuff, especially when you're famous
Right,
like
and
that.
I think Joe might be trying to point out what I'm saying. Like,
And
the
I and I don't
the
and
key to
like
winning in fantasy is differentiation. Everybody's going to have all the guys at the top of the ranks are going to have the same lineup, just about. There's going to be one guy
I
that
don't even really
differentiates
necessarily.
between everybody else that you have that nobody expected to have a great game. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't even really. I didn't even almost have a problem with what Calvin Ridley did. I think that they had to punish. I think they were just trying to get. They're trying to show themselves to be caring in this aspect and want to show the rules and not to break the rules. Because Vegas, like there's so many things that go on with sports betting that make a lot of money. All the way
Question
up to
for
the
you.
owners.
Do you think, and this is something I've been meaning to ask since this news broke, but I haven't really I haven't been on a panel where we're really deep talking about it where I was involved. Is this possibly what could have been the root of the psychological issues he was supposedly having weeks ago or at
Calvin
the end of the
Ridley?
season? Yeah, like did he maybe know they were onto him?
I don't know.
And that's what all that psychological stuff was about, the mental issues that he was taking a break for and all that stuff. Because if you did something and the NFL is on to you, it might cause you to be a little mental for a minute. Nobody's asked that question.
Well,
Is that all related? Is it
I
all
don't
the
know
same
how
thing?
long ago they saw him betting. I thought it was. I mean,
Well, I'm not sure.
football hasn't
It
been.
was during the
No,
season.
yeah, actually, you know what? You're that makes a lot of sense because football isn't even in season right now. When did that happen? Like
That
what
happened
game?
during the season. And I'm saying nobody's even asked the question. Was this the true nature of the
November.
mental issues he was having because he knew the NFL was onto him?
I don't know. It's just it's almost I think there's a lot being swept under the rug. I think they're just trying to cover it all with a whole year suspension.
Yep.
It's just I don't know. It's just this whole scenario was just it's just a weird scenario, and if he was doing something quote unquote illegal, then yeah, but a whole year, and I've never even heard of a player get suspended that long for anything. From my knowledge of watching sports a lot, pretty much since like 2007 is pretty much when I started watching sports a lot again, because I used to as a
I
kid.
think it happened recently in baseball, but
but
nothing in football.
but as far as like a suspension this long, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to be paranoid if you think someone's on to you. But I don't know. I mean, it'd be good to talk about maybe. What's funny is like I'm coming up with like things that we could talk about like next time. Calvin Ridley. He was mental health.
The real news of the day is that our producer has incorrectly spelled Aaron with 2 R's instead of 2 A's.
What about November?
I saw it.
In November.
I saw it pre-show, but I purposely didn't say anything.
Aaron.
Aaron.
My dog, Aaron. What are you, Aaron, doing? Okay, so this just happened this morning. Russell Wilson traded. Aaron Rodgers, huge contract. The Seattle Seahawks traded a few players to Dallas. No. To Denver. And got some first round picks, some second round picks. But, it's interesting that it was Denver Broncos because they have a history of winning Super Bowls late in a quarterback's career. John Elway didn't win until his last 2 seasons, and he went to the Super Bowl with them before that and lost. And then Peyton Manning lost the first time he got to the Super Bowl with them, but then won late, and it was his last season. If they do this again, if they win a Super Bowl again at the end of a player's career with Russell Wilson, that is going to be phenomenal. I'm going to kind of be rooting for them.
Well, you got Noah Fant. You got
and Von Miller was talking about
coming back.
Dude,
right.
You
got Tim Patrick, one of the fastest receivers in the league. You got Jerry Jeudy. I mean, and I don't know what they're doing with Melvin Gordon yet, but if they sign Melvin Gordon and then you pluck in Russell Wilson, they're ready made. Especially if Von Miller's coming back on defense.
Von Miller might go back, and their backup is Teddy Bridgewater right now.
Wow.
Which is a good backup. I mean, that's not a terrible backup. And I think they were like 4-0 at the start of the last season. But I mean, yeah, man, I'm going to be like, it's going to be interesting what they do, especially being an AFC. AFC is a little bit tougher right now than the NFC. Especially because, Tom Brady's gone. We think he's going to stay gone, but you got the Bills, you got the Ravens, and then being in the West, the AFC West with the Chargers and
that's twice a year against Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly.
No
exactly.
Wonder, man. League's about to make some big money off the AFC West.
Yeah, so it's going to be
against Carr, twice against Mahomes, twice against Herbert.
Because I mean, they must feel that their offensive line can work well with Russell Wilson.
Dude, let me frame it the other way. Every AFC West quarterback now has to face Aaron Rodgers twice a year. That's Herbert, Carr, and Mahomes all have to face Aaron Rodgers twice a year.
What do you mean?
What a battle.
That's NFC, not AFC.
No, Rodgers is with Denver now.
No, I thought Russell Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry, Russell Wilson. They all have to face Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I know. Right. That's what I'm saying, dude. Dude, that is going to be so awesome to watch the AFC West games, dude. I am so excited to see that. That might end up being the toughest division.
Bottom line is, whichever quarterback comes out on top in the AFC West had to go. Yeah. I mean, they had to defeat Russell Wilson twice.
Yeah.
Possibly Josh Allen once.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes
twice. Derek Carr. And
in other words, they have to defeat each other twice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the head coach, Justin Herbert. He's bad to the bone, dude. I love Justin Herbert. He's bad. Dude, the AFC is stacked. And
then on the years where they don't have to face Josh Allen with Buffalo, they got to face Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
Exactly. And the Patriots ain't going to be mediocre very long. Their head coach is not going to allow that, dude. They got to
face, and then when they're not having to face those two,
and we'll see what the
Dolphins in the years that they have to face Joe Burrow, if it's a full AFC Central North year, they have to face Lamar too. And on top of that, when they shift over to the AFC East year, they got to play Tua.
Yeah, the AFC is going to be stacked.
Dang, man.
I don't know. I'm real interested in seeing how it's going to work out. And I'm glad that I see
like a 9-8 divisional champion out there.
I'm glad that I went to a game to see Russell Wilson play in person because I just remember it so well, so vividly. It was a home game, so he had on his bright green shoes. And just seeing him run the RPO offense and just running around, it was just it was awesome. It was so awesome to see him in action. And
good evening, Aqua. How you doing?
It's going to be real interesting to see what the Broncos do. I mean, especially if Von Miller goes back, dude.
Yeah.
Because what's his name on the Rams? He's talking about retiring. What's his name? The other defensive guy that was with Von Miller. He's thinking about retiring.
Who's Donald?
Yeah, Aaron Donald. I saw a news article.
That's just to get more. That's just to extract more money out of the Rams. That's a way to say maybe not get more money, but that's a way to say that's a way for Donald to say right off the bat, don't even think about coming over here and knocking on the door for a restructure. You know what I mean?
Where's the next Super Bowl at? Like what?
I don't know. We played in London recently, so we're due for one here soon.
Vegas?
Oh, that's right. It's in Vegas.
So all right. I was hoping
if they sure up a running game in Denver, and then and Von Miller comes back, man, I might be picking them to go to the bowl next year, man.
I mean, at least
that is overnight. That's an overnight contender.
At least represent the AFC.
Overnight contender, because not only is Tim Patrick a very fast wide receiver, but he can catch the ball too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they must feel that their offensive line can cater to Russell Wilson. You know, like the Denver Broncos are a smart team. They've done well with quarterbacks.
They're gonna have to keep Melvin Gordon and maybe draft a running back.
And they must really feel that he will do well in their system. So I'm excited to see it. I love good changes like that, and I'm excited to see what the Seahawks choose. I don't know if they're going to keep Geno Smith as their starting QB, but
well, hold on a second. Shake, put up Shake's comment real quick. The only thing with that is that if the West does end up beating each other up, let's say the division winner is 9-8, tied with the second place, and they win the division on a tiebreaker, and the third place is like 8-9. You're talking about one team in the playoffs out of the West. You know what I mean? Because if their division winner is 9-8, that means every other division is going to probably have a 10-7 team, which means there's only one team coming from the West into the playoffs if they all end up beating each other up to a 9-8 record.
Yeah, that's going to be.
I know it seems like they should all go, and there'll be a lot of people that are upset that a couple of them get shafted out by a lesser grade team from another division, but that's how it's going to be. If they're all going to be 9-8, only one of them can be in the playoffs, the division winner, because the other teams in the playoffs are going to likely be 10-7 at least.
That's crazy. It's going to be.
That's what the NFL wants. They want a bunch of great players beating each other up.
It's like the SEC of the NFL.
They want it to seem like football is crap, but it's only because everybody is so damn good.
Yeah, seriously. Or like we'll have another scenario where you play like whoever, if they tie, they're both in. Like the Raiders and the Chargers last year.
The NFL has always been smart with their rules. I don't think we always have a tiebreaker. Even if it comes down to a cheerleader shootout or something, you know what I mean? Yeah, they'll put the cheerleaders on the field in flags and
but congrats though. I mean, I hope he does well over there. He had a lot going on here in Seattle. He had a flag football team, so I don't know if he's going to hand it up to someone else. But
the cheerleaders probably played in it.
He did a lot here in Seattle. So did Bobby Wagner. You'll see Bobby Wagner on the back of.
Who's that? Russell Wilson?
Yeah. He had a flag football league here. He'll probably just give it. I don't know. Maybe he'll keep on in there. I'm not sure, but I didn't get a chance to go to those games. There's I don't know. It's just so many things going on in Seattle. It's hard to go to all of them.
Hey, what if we find out that Calvin Ridley bet on whether he was going to be a Miami Dolphin or not?
He plays for Atlanta now.
I know.
I don't. How would he bet?
Because there might be a bookie out there that has that prop. You know what I mean?
I don't see a bookie handing out information like that. Usually,
no. I'm saying there might have been a line on it at one point at some betting site. You know what I mean?
Call Brandon the bookie and ask him. He's probably in his He's probably in like Iowa or something right now.
I thought there was a line at one point on one of the betting sites that was like, where, you know, who's Ridley likely to play for.
Play for he'll
I
play
could be
for
wrong.
he'll play for the suspension.
Oh, by the way, I see Chris is making himself known in chat. I wanted to point out that yeah, that plus 1,600 for Russell Wilson going to the Bucks. Yeah, that just got that bet slip just got cleared. I didn't win.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of people who placed a bet on Ross's yacht.
I don't remember what Wilson was, what his odds were to go to Denver, though. That was probably higher than the odds to go to the Bucks. Like, it
Well, I
probably
know
was.
he said last season he gave a list of like 4 teams. I don't remember what teams those are, but they've been talking about trading him for a while. So I think it was just bound to happen. I think they were just waiting on the best deal that they could get for him. And they finally went through with it. And maybe it was a team that he was interested in. Because, you know, I think he has to, like, I don't think it was totally up to them. I think he had some say in whether he would go or not. Yeah, Joe, that's what I'm saying. I think by now we would have. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I think it's a sure thing, but I think he does have some say because, like I said, last season he put out a list of 4 teams that he would be interested in doing that and trading to or going to.
So he was probably like plus 900 for Denver or something.
Yeah, but yeah, like it was in talks for a while. And plus once you like start talking like that, once you really start having those conversations, there's really no going back from it. I mean, he's so loved here by the fans. Like, I don't think the fans wanted him to leave, but like, you know, behind closed doors, the front office, you know, you start having talks like that. It's kind of not really ever the same.
So the Dolphins franchised tagged Mike Gesicki, right? And that's not a transitional. That's just regular franchise tag.
So, all right. So just so I really understand. So I asked you guys before, I said, what does franchise tag mean? And you said, like, all right, let me say it and see if I'm correct.
Sure.
Franchise tags means, so what position is Mike Gesicki?
Tight end.
So they look at all the tight ends in the league and they look at how much the tight end makes and they kind of do an average of that. Like they add up all the tight ends making money and then divide, like, let's say 32
It's the
tight
top
ends.
5.
Oh,
they take the top 5 salaries of tight ends and average them.
And they call that a franchise so that he doesn't go anywhere.
Basically, it's saying that Miami's willing to pay the average going rate of the top 5 tight ends. So Mr. Gesicki, since they're willing to do that, you really don't have much leverage to say that it's a raw deal to be able to be unrestricted. You know what I mean?
Because, I mean, you're making top 5 money.
Right. Exactly. And so now a team would have to exceed that offer. But also, if Gesicki declines to sign the offer, which, by the way, has not been reported that he actually signed it, just so everybody's clear on that. If he declines to sign the offer, he will not be able to play football for an entire season. He will have to sit out. Nobody could take him. He's not unrestricted free agent. He is bought and paid for property of the Miami Dolphins. If he does not sign that franchise tag, he will be sitting on the bench, not playing anywhere. And
that's because their contract says that?
That's what the rules of the franchise tag are.
So it seems like it's kind of something, like, from what it sounds like, it seems like it's forced.
Well, it's the Dolphins saying, we're paying this to this guy. We this is the offer we tender. Each team is allowed one franchise tag to have that force to say, that's why it's a franchise tag. So they're saying that this is a Miami Dolphin. He is a franchise property of the NFL. You see what I'm saying?
So every team only has one franchise tag option per season?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
so
they're making him the tight
right,
end,
right,
choosing
right,
him.
right. And by doing that, it's like exercising an option. You know what I mean? So when they do that, he's no longer unrestricted. And the deal for that is that he has to get an average of the top 5 money for tight ends.
And so when he first signed with the team, that was in the contract that if they wanted to do that, they could.
Sure, I don't think they can take it out of their contract. Maybe they could.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying, like, it's not something that's sprung out of nowhere. Like,
Correct.
he knew
Correct. Every
that
player
this,
knows this happens,
yeah,
right?
he knew that was a possibility with
Sure.
whatever team he goes to.
Sure.
All right, yeah,
Sure.
okay.
And so now his issue is he wants the league to change him into a wide receiver. Now, if you take the top 5 money of wide receivers in the league, it's more than it is for tight ends. So, which the league is not traditionally willing to do that in the first place. Obviously Miami wouldn't want him to do that either. You know what I mean? So that's mainly why they offered the franchise. They took the franchise tag on him, but it's also because the Dolphins do want him here in some respect. I mean, it's a way to say we're protecting this guy like a jury veto. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it does. Yeah, we can. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean a bad
right,
thing.
and we're willing to pay top
sounds like
average
they
of top
really
5
want,
money
yeah.
to do it. So if Gesicki refuses that fair offer, he can't play. He can't sign for any other team because we have franchised him as property of the Miami Dolphins, a franchise of the NFL. He doesn't even own his own name at this point.
And what's up? What's up, Ken Sean? And so the salary cap went higher this year for the NFL.
Correct.
Does that mean so?
Which was
200
expected,
million?
by the way. They
Was
had
that like
expected
200?
that's
Well, they
through
had it
revenue.
lower because of COVID.
Well, no, well, yeah, but they're talking about as far as the measures they took for online marketing and the things that have changed over the years, that still was an upward trajectory, COVID or not. So basically,
208 million per team.
Right. Do you have the number of what that was up from last year?
I think it was significantly higher.
And that's the thing is everybody expected this because they all do predictions based on revenue because if you, in case anybody in the audience or you yourself wasn't aware, the salary cap that the NFL implements is based on how much the NFL actually makes through profit sharing and through merchandise sales and tickets.
So it's up from 182 million. So it's about
right. So that basically means every team has an extra $28 million to spend.
Yeah. 20. Well, about
right
26.
out of the blue, just dropped right out of the sky for every single team.
Yeah.
So if there was a team out there, Tonk, that was at zero, that had no money to spend, had just signed all their players, you know what I mean? They're out of money.
An extra 25
and they broke even. Now they've got $28 million to get another couple guys.
And so speaking of that, like when Aaron Rodgers just signed his contract, it comes out to be about 35 million. So I don't know.
Yeah, they blew that. It would have been 100. It would have been 135 minus 28 million probably if the salary cap didn't increase.
Because before going on the show, I was talking with you guys about that. And me, whenever I hear like these giant contracts, like look what happened with the Ravens when they gave Joe Flacco all that money. The Ravens sucked after that. And then they did it. Was it who else did that recently? Oh, what's his name on the Philadelphia Phillies? He went there from Washington. The baseball player. What's his name?
Scherzer?
No.
I was gonna say if Scherzer's with Philly now, you're killing me, man.
No, he's a really good player, but let's see, I can't think of his name. There's
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. So they gave Bryce Harper that big, giant, huge contract. And then they're not even really that good. And then the team he left wins the World Series.
Right.
So it's like Thank you.
Now,
Thank you,
baseball's a
Aquavision.
little bit different,
And
Tonk,
Mike,
because Bryce Harper
well,
will literally be playing there for the next 25
right.
years.
But I'm just saying,
know.
like, I'm just giving examples off the top of my head of where I know teams like give out these big giant contracts and then they don't really do that well. And like you hear
Right.
about players taking less money to win, but the way you guys explain it, my point here is the way you guys explain it is that it's 35 million a year for Rodgers. When I guess for a quarterback, that's kind of, that's not the highest, or I haven't looked at money yet, but you kind of said that it's actually a little bit better for the team. It's not too expensive to where they can get other players. Cause I mean, like they make it into the playoffs, but that's it. They don't even really win one game in the playoffs anymore. They always lose the game, and they were the number one seed this year, right? So they played was it the Rams or San Fran, and they lost. They didn't make it to the conference championship. So it's like,
now they could actually trade Devontae Adams, even though
San
nobody
Fran
would expect that,
right?
and
So
take that extra 28 million that just fell out of the sky and get 2 Amari Coopers.
I know it's like I mean, for him to take that, he had to agree, because I mean, like, he obviously wants to win. That's why there's trade talks. That's, and Aaron Rodgers, he's quiet, but he's not quiet at the same time. His
now, another thing that,
quietness.
you know what else, Tonk, you mentioned something a minute ago that the money he's getting is what, 35 million a year or whatever, but now that's in this case. But a lot of people forget too, when they say, oh, we can't afford to do this if we go and get this or that guy. What a lot of people forget is when they're, let's say that we're going to give a guy $100 million over 4 years. Well, that's 25 million a year, right? Well, what if we were to give him 10 million the first year, and then, 30 million the next year, and 50 million the next year? You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be 25 million per year. So it's not like as if we gave a guy a contract for 100 million and we're going to pay him 25 million a year, that doesn't mean we're going to owe him 25 million this first year. There's so many ways they could part out that with incentives,
Right,
bonuses,
incentives,
all
right.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Signing bonus,
Right. Yeah. Well, the incentives, like if you make it to the playoffs, if you get this many touchdowns.
And some of that money, some of those incentives can be borrowed off of future salary cap.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people don't realize. They want to say, oh, we've got 69 million, obviously plus the 28, but we've got 69 million. We got to sign this, that guy, and this is how many, and this is all the dollars. It doesn't work that way at all. You know what I mean? As Green Bay just proved, who was in no position to give Aaron Rodgers the biggest contract in history. You know what I mean? As far as bonus goes,
I don't know. Jordan Love didn't look too good. The games that he played, when he came in late on some of the games when they didn't need Rodgers anymore.
Friday, I don't know.
And he didn't look that good. So, they must have really wanted to keep him. And I don't know. It's kind of like with Seattle.
The same with Denver. Look what Denver gave up for Wilson. And we all say, wow, look at that. Now, nobody's going to argue that Tim Patrick and Jerry Jeudy and these guys, their eye test might tell them something different, but it's not like Drew Lock was distributing the ball to them any better than our quarterback was to Devontae and Waddle and everybody else. What I'm saying is they gave up the farm for Russell Wilson. They still have the ability, because of the 28 million that just fell out of the sky, to pepper in a couple more pieces. Sure up their running back like Melvin Gordon, and boom, overnight.
Yeah.
They may not make it to the Super Bowl, but nobody would laugh at you for picking them to make it to the Super Bowl. They're contenders. That's what it means to be a contender.
Thanks, Miss Fins. Thanks, Joe. I guess we'll see if he actually signs, but I don't know. It's just weird because he's been talking, like he didn't seem too happy with the team, even though I like their head coach. I think they are a good team. They make it to the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is always looking MVP. They have a solid team. They just have this hump now that they can't get over in the playoffs.
I'm talking Green Bay?
Yeah. So he must.
A lot of it has to do with Rodgers' own attitude, if you ask me.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you keep hearing these talks about trade.
Maybe
or
now he's comfortable
else.
enough. Maybe now he's happy enough that they finally did it, and he'll just go out and have fun. If he's out there having fun, watch out. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's very good. He's very efficient, and he makes other players
oh,
better.
thank you, Miss Fins. I
I
didn't
don't know if
realize
he
that he
has.
didn't. I thought, I mean, he agreed. Yeah, but that's, I mean, for him to go back on it is kind of like I don't think, I'm not sure
You know
if
what I
that's
noticed? So with
if
Aaron
that
Rodgers,
etiquette's ever been breached very many times. You know what I mean?
like when you see Aaron Rodgers down in a game, like losing, you don't see the same attitude that you would see like Tom Brady having. Like when Tom Brady is down, you see him screaming at the players. You see him walking around like he didn't take no shit. And I don't ever see that out of Aaron Rodgers. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with, because sometimes you need someone to scream at you when you're in a high intensity game. If you're not getting it from somewhere, maybe you need to, get it.
Oh, come on.
And
Come on, Tonk. Are you serious? You can't talk to people that way.
I'm not
I
saying
mean, you know
curse
what
at
the
them
slogan
or
is
put
around
them
these parts,
down,
man.
but I
You know
mean,
what
I
this
don't,
do
dude,
I need to, man,
dude, come on now.
you just made me want to put on my lay,
We're
bro.
not talking about Joe Incognito.
You just
I'm
made
not
me want
talking
to put
about
on
that.
my lay, bro. You see my lay? You like
What
my
your
lay?
lay?
Yeah, my lay.
But I'm
Here,
saying that, like,
here, let me show you.
I
Let me
don't
show you.
know. We need more out of Rodgers. We need more. If they're losing, I want to see him screaming and yelling, dude. Like, I want to see it, and
There we go. There's my
I
lay,
think.
bro. See my lay? It's a Tua lay.
Oh, okay. Actually, I have one of those in my car, not a Dolphins one, but from How did you put it on? Oh, because it's on your screen. How did you do that on your
Actually, I
screen?
meticulously went out because I got that as a JPEG.
It's
Okay. And I meticulously went through and outlined and erased out the background because I couldn't
It's
eliminate
cool.
the
I like it. It's
background
real.
because it was
Yeah,
a
I like it.
JPEG.
And I like your did Beavis make you that CC?
No, I hand drew that
Oh, it's cool. It looks
with
good.
a ruler and a pencil
Yeah. I'll wear
in
my lay next
geometry.
time. The next show we have, I'll wear mine. I got it from this bar here in Seattle. Pretty
However,
cool bar.
our
Admiral Pub.
wonderful,
If you
our
want in Seattle, go to
wonderful,
Admiral Pub.
our wonderful guys behind the scenes, and I don't know if Chris has that at his disposal on this particular
Another fight. So, Ali, was
instance
it the
of the
players?
show. But check this out, Tonk. So our great guys behind the scene made the logo that Chris shows on the Fins tailgate for my show on Thursday nights. Check that out, everybody, at 10 o'clock if you would.
Oh, shout
I don't
out.
know if he has it on tap to be able to show here, but right there at the top, see the top corner of our window
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah,
So
that's yours. That's
that's the redesign of my hand drawn logo. That's what the guys did in the back and I just think it's awesome. I
so
can't
they didn't
decide which
steal
one's
it.
better, to be
And
honest.
and my symbol is I had that made for me. It's 2 cent signs.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool, man.
yeah.
It almost is like,
Stands for cheese chaser.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese chaser. There you go.
Yeah. And and I had some do it. I wanted camouflage. Camouflage is like my favorite color. Even though it's a pattern.
You
But
go DD, ducket driver.
D's. I stay away from D's. It's
That's
too.
what we run around
There's
here,
only
a
one.
ducket driver.
There's not very many things that you associate with D. I don't want my name like associated with a D. Color, old school always. I mean, old school. Look at that Lakewood High School shirt I got back there. Go Gators too. But yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Regardless if Aaron, if Rodgers takes it or not, we got the franchise tag. Even though it's not a franchise tag for Rodgers, but it is for Gesicki. Who's that Eples where it says franchise tag Ogba? Who's Ogba?
Oh, so Emmanuel Ogba.
Who's that?
He's the guy that did not get franchise tagged and was in question. The debate was who were they going to tag? Was it going to be Gesicki or Ogba? So what it's saying is now that what it's going to cause is now what the Dolphins are saying to Ogba is, here's our deal. Ogba didn't really like it. The Dolphins decided to tag Gesicki instead of Ogba. So what they're saying to Ogba is they're willing to let him test free agency. So he's going to go out there and see what he can get. If it's hugely more than the Dolphins are willing to go higher, if the Dolphins are already stuck on their number now and aren't willing to go aren't willing to budge higher, then he can test the market, and $1 million more means he's no longer a Miami Dolphin. But he can go test the waters, find out what other teams are offering, and Miami could decide to either to outbid that. If it gets, we don't know where they're at. The prevailing thought is that Miami is going to let him walk.
All right. Yeah. So
tag him. It would have costed us more money to tag Ogba than Gesicki, basically.
Miss Fins, thanks for chiming in. Mike on the mic, he's ready to get his show started. He's probably got that bow tie. I don't know what kind of bow tie it is that he wears, but he's got his cowboy hat. He's probably got his vest on. He's ready to go.
That's right. Yeah, don't forget open mic tonight, everybody.
Yeah, and my show's letting my show go a little bit longer now.
While we're at it, like and share, everybody. Subscribe to this channel,
please. Like
Fins
and share.
Tailgate.
Hopefully, we got some more. We got some more.
We're rounding the corner. We're getting on the 3/4 side, closer to 1,000. So get the word out, share the video, get everybody to subscribe, whatever you can do, and we appreciate that.
But yeah, and do we have like a area where, like, let's say that people that watch this show want us to talk about a topic or me talk about a topic. Do we have like a suggestions box?
Well, right now I would direct them to Twitter. I mean, throw some.
Well, just email the fans tailgate at gmail.com. If you guys have anything that you would like us to discuss or go over, let us know, because I would love to talk about something that you guys find interesting or whatever it is, or in the comments. But like besides in the comments, like right then, but like something that I could plan on, I could look up or something like that, because these topics, I look it over, I investigate into what's going on in sports to find these. I don't just like wake up in the morning and say, oh, I want to talk about Coach K and Calvin Ridley and Rustin. Like, I can't wait to do that today.
Yeah, we certainly want you guys to be interested in what we're talking about. So,
but
you all drive the content during the off season. It's a little tough, so you guys drive the content.
Yeah, waiting for March Madness to start. I'm going to get some college basketball games going on in there, and then the MLB still having that lockout. Can't talk about baseball yet until that happens.
Oh, and at the very least, just tell us, hey, don't ever talk about that freaking thing again. You know what I mean? Whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Even that would help.
I can bet that won't happen much on my show because I am.
Well, I know what the prevailing one would be for me. I mean, like,
because I try to choose topics that everybody might like, have interest in, could learn about,
sure,
could benefit from. Yeah, so that's what I try to bring to this. But anyways, yeah, so that is concluded. Remember to like, follow, share, save. We got the links below that show all the links to microphone, to our gear, the Fins Tailgate gear, and then fanatics.com. I think if you buy stuff with that link, it helps like our partnership with them. So we're trying to grow this, and we love that you guys are in the comments it's awesome. I really enjoy being here.